And a very good Monday evening. Welcome into Time Out here on TVNB. Tim Johnson bids bye-bye to the Blue Jays. The Saints and Greyhounds will be going to a Game 7 in the City and District Championship, and the Lennox Lewis Evander Holyfield saga continues. All that and a whole lot more coming up in the next 30 minutes, so don't go far. And a very good Monday evening. Hope your first day back to the work grind went well. Jim Hennessy sitting alongside Bruce McDonald. Nice to have you in, man.
Great, Jim. Thanks for having me again.
Hey, no problem. Let's get right to it. Of course, we'll head to the baseball diamond to start off our conversation this week. Tim Johnson and the Blue Jays. I guess this was a real big mess. They had a pretty good year. They finished up fairly strong last year. 84-77 is the record they finished up with. But, of course, it was more of the off-the-field antics that got the team, or I should say Tim Johnson, in trouble more than anything with the team. Said that he had served in Vietnam. Of course, that turned out to be a huge lie and a black eye on his face. And, of course, that was something that the media couldn't get past. And they said that he really couldn't connect with the players. There were a few problems there, that they were having trouble with that. So, I mean, the saga is finally over, I guess. So I guess they start fresh, and the slate is now clean, and they can kick off the season on a high note, I guess.
Yeah. It's a bit surprising to me that it happened when it did, Jim, because that's really the first time I've ever heard a manager being fired halfway through spring training like that. I mean, I think they probably should have done that move before the spring training started, actually.
Sure.
And get the guys down there with their new manager in place and started from scratch and got things going.
Sure.
So.
Well, they're bringing in a pretty good guy. I mean, he's a journeyman. I can't even pronounce the word right. Geez, somebody pass me a dictionary. There we go. Yeah. The journeyman around the Major League Baseball scene. He's been in California, Chicago. Of course, it's kind of ironic that his last team was Philadelphia, but Jim Fregosi will be taking the reins of the Toronto Blue Jays, which is sort of interesting, of course, because if you're a Blue Jays fan, you remember the shot heard around Canada coming off the bat of Joe Carter. Wild thing. Just pitch him outside. He can't hit the outside heat. Boom, of course, Joe takes it over the left field wall. Jim Fregosi was the man with Philadelphia that year, but I think Fregosi's going to do well. This is the first time the Jays have gone out of the organization to hire a manager. I think that with the experience he brings, he seems to be a player coach. They seem to like him right off the bat. They're playing well ever since he was put back in. They've got a brutal record in spring training, which of course doesn't mean anything, but they've been playing extremely well since he has taken over. So I think it's fresh life. It's a new breath for the Blue Jays, and I think they got a pretty good shot this year.
Yeah, I like the team this year. Like you say, he's a good baseball man. He's got the experience. He's been around. I like to see Cecil Fielder come in there and do a good job this year. Big Daddy. I like to see him hit 30 homers. I think he can do that.
Sure.
I mean, that would replace some of Canseco's power anyway. And even with losing Clemens, their pitching staff still isn't bad with picking up Joey Hamilton from San Diego. Hankins should bounce back, even be stronger this year. And they've got some young prospects there as well.
I think Hankins taking over that #1 job again after winning the Cy Young a couple of years back. I think he felt he deserved it after that. And, of course, with Clemens coming in, he kind of stepped aside and said, well, okay, it is the Rocket Man. Let's give him, what is due to him. But I think Hankins going to step back into that role and have a better year, of course, than he did last year. He finished, I think, somewhere just a couple of games over 500. ERA hovered around 3 and 4 for most of the year. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do. Sticking with Major League Baseball, spring training, of course, you don't like to see the injuries. The managers and the general managers cringe when they see one of their top players go down. But there's a lot of players that are down already. A couple of managers that are down for the year or half the year already. Moises Alou for Houston, he's out till at least August. They hope to get him back by August. Andres Galarraga, a big bat that's going to be missing out of the Atlanta Braves lineup. And what do you think of all this? I mean, and most of it is not injuries that they sustain playing on the field. Most, Andres Galarraga is cancer. Moises Alou is an injury, but, the injury bug and the, well, you can't say the flu bug, but, just health-wise, there's a lot of players that are top-notch players in the league that are out already.
Yeah, that's surprising to see that happen so early, but rumor I've heard is that, believe it or not, Frank Thomas might be heading to Atlanta. His stock's gone down in Chicago. They were trying to actually deal him last year, believe it or not, and if anyone's got the money to do it, it's Atlanta. Right now they're saying Klesko's moving the first, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen, actually, and see Frank Thomas playing first place for Atlanta. I don't know who they'll give up for him, but
yeah, exactly.
But it will have to be some talent for sure.
No, when you get Ted Turner's wallet, you've got that option to play a little bit and have a little extra cash around as well. And Joe Torre, of course, is going to be missing from the bench of the New York Yankees. Underwent colon cancer in St. Louis earlier last week. The doctors say the diagnosis is real good for his recovery. They don't expect him to be back probably till around mid-July, maybe the 1st of August, but I mean, that team's just loaded with talent, so whoever grabs the reins there, I'm sure will do a great job until Joe gets back into place.
Yeah, it looks like Don Zimmer's taking over till then. He's got lots of experience anyhow. They won't miss a beat.
No question. Now, the home run chase is interesting, of course, because Mark McGwire's up to his old antics, Sammy Sosa doing pretty much the same. A little controversy with Sosa. Sosa, instead of doing the, I don't know if I can get it right, he does the kiss thing there after he hits the home runs. Instead, this year, he's bowing to the fans.
Really?
After every home run. He hits home plate, and he gives them the old bow. Todd Stottlemyre, of course, pitching for Tampa Bay this year. They played an exhibition game earlier this week. Sammy jacks 2 off him, and on the second one, he came around, and of course, he did the bow thing. Stottlemyre, after the game, said, you know, what's this guy trying to prove? What's he up to? You know, he's being a jerk. He doesn't need to do that. I think Stottlemyre should just, you know, accept his role, and not even a role, but accept the fact that, you know, right now for Major League Baseball, the 2 hottest PR stints are Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. I think that if you talk to anybody in Major League Baseball, if Sammy Sosa wants to, you know, do handstands around the bases when he hits a home run, or Mark McGwire wanted to do the same, they'd say pretty much leave them alone, let them do whatever they want, because if it wasn't for these two, Major League Baseball would still be going through the turmoil and everything that still relayed over from the walkout there a couple of years back.
Yeah, I agree with that. However, I think if this was 30 years ago, Stottlemyre wouldn't be mouthing off at all. He just would have the next time he faced him, he'd have a fastball right up under his chin. So you wouldn't have to worry about it, would you?
Yeah.
And that's the way they spoke back when they were real ball players, I believe. So.
Yeah.
But, you know, like you're right, though. I mean, baseball's come through some troubling times lately, and they need the personalities like Sosa and McGwire. I do have one prediction for this year, however. It's going to be Ken Griffey Jr. leading the major leagues in home runs this year.
Is he going to take a run at McGwire's record?
He's a man. Well, he won't hit 70 this year, but I think he'll hit about 55 and lead both leagues. Yeah.
See, I don't know. Like, I mean, the way Sammy's been cranking them out in spring training. I mean, spring training, you don't like to put too much stock in anything that happens in spring training. But the way he's been hitting the ball and making that good, solid contact, it seems like he did a lot of work in the off season. He did a lot of traveling in the off season as well. But he said he really wanted to come back and wanted to prove to people that it wasn't a fluke year, that, you know, he didn't hit these home runs, you know, just as a PR stunt to, you know, get Chicago on the map and get the Cubs back in the good graces of the fans. He wants to prove to them and prove to Major League Baseball and all the fans that, you know, this guy's for real. So I look for Sammy to get over the 60 plateau as well again this year, and I look for McGwire to do that. I think it's going to be another race. I really do.
I think Sosa will hit 40 range.
40?
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be hurt part of the year.
Okay.
And he'll hit about 40 home runs. McGwire, I have no problem saying he'll hit 55 range as well. I agree there.
I'm predicting McGwire to hit at least 60 this year.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah. Ken Griffey, that's a good pick. That's an interesting pick.
I like Griffey, yeah.
He kind of got thrown into the background last year.
He did, yeah.
Well, he tapered off there. He had that bad slump.
He's still the best all-around player in baseball right now if you look at his offense, defense, everything else. So.
Yeah. Okay, let's jump over to the hockey rink, of course, around town. The buzz is City and District High School Boys Hockey Championship. It's going right down to a Game 7. They're tied at 3 heading into the game Wednesday night. It's going to be at the LBR, correct?
That's right, yes.
Okay, and it's going to be interesting. St. John High, of course, the defending champs. They go up against St. Malachy's, and I think they beat St. Max in last year's final as well. Is that correct?
That's right.
Wow, getting all my stats right this week. I like that. Who are you taking for this game?
Well,
I'm putting you on the hot seat, man.
That's a tough call, really. It's been so close, really. My heart's with St. John High School since I did attend school there many years ago.
Sure.
I really can't call it, to be honest, Jim. I think it's a total toss-up at this point. I'd be surprised whoever wins that if they can handle KV in the league final after that.
Sure.
So that'd be. I think KV will win the whole thing this year, if it's a best of 3 or best of 5 they play.
Yeah, exactly. I got to give the edge to St. John High just simply for the fact they are the defending champs. Still quite a few players from last year's championships team still in that lineup. Their captain is playing extremely well at this point. Ryan Steele, of course, I think is going to be the big factor there. He's been playing extremely well between the pipes for the Greyhounds, and I think he's the man that's going to carry them.
Yeah, he won it for them last year.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. So
that's a good point. I agree.
We look forward to it. Wednesday night, not quite sure of a start time just yet, but probably around 7 o'clock. Is that safe to say?
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game for the LBR, so we hope you get down there and check things out. Still with the ice, of course, the NHL trading deadline is coming up tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Now, we want to let you folks know that for hockey fans, that we are on tape delay this week. We had to tape the show a couple of days early, so if some of the things we say, you're looking at the camera or looking at the TV going, that trade already happened. What are these guys talking about? It's because we had to tape the show a couple of days in advance, so that's why we might be a little bit behind. But of course, some of the names being bandied around, one that is right at the top of my list is Wendell Clark for the Tampa Bay Lightning, having a sensational year. Who picks him up? Where's he going? And why?
Well, I think he's going to the Dallas Stars. I mean, Dallas is looking for some more goal scoring. They're great on defense, top defensive team in the league right now. They're right up there in points, and they need a guy like that who can fill the net for them. I don't think Brett Hull's done what they expected down there this year for them. I mean, he's been a leader for them, but he hasn't been 50 goal pace, which they were hoping for.
Injury prone too.
Yeah, exactly. I think Wendell will go there. Now, for who? I think obviously they'll have to give up some draft picks and some young prospects. That's all Tampa Bay's looking for right now. So I think Dallas has some of that available right now. So
does Kenny Hitchcock want to fool around with the lineup too much, though?
Well, like I said, he needs some offense there. So I mean, they've had a great team the last 2 years, and they haven't really done anything in the playoffs.
Choked as soon as they get to the playoffs.
Yeah. So that's my prediction on Wendell Clark.
Do the Red Wings pull the trigger on a deal here? I mean, they've been a subpar hockey team for most of the year. Two-time defending Stanley Cup champions. They really look sluggish. Like I say, especially after the All-Star game, they've really been struggling of late. Scotty Bowman was interviewed earlier this week, had a chance to see part of it, and he said, we're not real sure what we're going to do. We like the lineups that we do have. Obviously, the team has been playing up to the usual standards that they have over the past couple of years that all the Red Wing fans have become accustomed to, but he said, don't count us out Tuesday before 3 o'clock, he said, because something could come down the pipe.
Yeah, I think they'll trade about 6 Russians for a Canadian hockey player.
That'd make Don Cherry happy.
Well, you know, in all honesty, I can't say they have too many Russians. Like I say, they won 2 cups in a row. I mean, they've shut us pro-Canadians up, really, when you look at it. But I really think they're missing that element. They need a guy like Brendan Shanahan hasn't done the job for them this year in that aspect of the game. I think they need a guy and score goals for them and bang and crash. They've got the skill players. They got a good goaltender, Chris Osgood. I think they can use some bang and crash up front. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. There's no question about that. After Tuesday at 3 o'clock, of course, we all get to sit back and go, wow, he went there, they went there. So it's always fun to see, of course, with the trading deadline because it makes things interesting heading into that playoff run. We were talking about the high school hockey, Game 5 in the Best of 7 City and District High School Hockey Championship. We had a chance to get down to the LBR on Wednesday night and catch some of the action, and we'll have it for you coming up next.
Game 5 in the Best of 7 City and District High School Boys Hockey Championship, pitting the St. John High Greyhounds versus the St. Malachi Saints. Now, the series was deadlocked at 2 apiece heading into this game, so this was a huge night for both squads. So the Saints draw first blood, scoring at 4:14 of the opening frame. Tom Bishop tickles the twine with the assist to Sean Nadeau and Josh Ferguson. And unfortunately for the Saints and their fans, that would be all the celebration for them on the night, because that was all the offense that they could muster up. But there was no lack of scoring for the Greyhounds on this night, knotting the game at a goal apiece at 7:20 of the first period. There you saw Scott Holborn with a beauty pass to Jamie Ryan, and we're tied at 1. So the Greyhounds waste no time grabbing the lead outright. Captain Wayne Stewart wires one from the blue line, and that tickles the twine, and the Hounds have their first lead of the game, and that is a lead they would not relinquish in this game. They now lead 2-1 over the St. Malachi Saints halfway through the opening period in Game 5 in the City and District Boys High School Hockey Championship. So the Greyhounds continue their assault as Captain Wayne Stewart comes across the blue line and sends a slow floater in that fools the Saints goaltender. He's got his second of the night with the assist to Justin Thibodeau, and the Greyhounds grab a 3-1 lead halfway through the second period. So the final nail in the coffin for the Saints would once again come from Captain Wayne Stewart as he completes the hat trick. The shot goes off the Saints defenseman Kevin Votor. Another soft goal for the Greyhounds. He has the hat trick, and the Greyhounds have a 4-1 lead in the game, and that's the way this game would finish up. No scoring in the third period, but Greyhounds keeper Ryan Steele with some sensational saves in the third to keep the Saints off the board. So Game 5 goes to the Hounds, and they grab a 3-2 lead in the Best of 7 City and District High School Boys Hockey Final.
If it's the talk of the town, then it's Hot Topic, the show interested in your community and what you have to say. Hot Topic, Wednesday nights at 7 on Channel 10 TVNB. It's not Carnegie Hall or the Apollo, but then again, who would want it to be? One large entertainment serving of music, comedy, and down-home laughter. Friday nights at 11 on Channel 10 TVNB.
And welcome back into the second half of Time Out here on TVNB. Jim Hennessy sitting alongside Bruce McDonald. We have one more trade in the NHL to make notice of that happened over the weekend.
Yeah, I get the impression that Irving Grunman might be the new GM of the Chicago Blackhawks when I look at this one. Chad Kilger, Daniel Cleary, Christian Laflamme, and Ethan Moreau go to Edmonton.
That's right.
For Boris Marinoff, McCammond, and some Swede playing over in Sweden right now. I mean, I can't believe Chicago gave up these 4 good young hockey players. They're all over 6 feet tall, 200 pounds each, and they're all first-round draft picks.
Well, desperate times call for desperate measures. If it wasn't for Tampa Bay, Chicago would be dead last in the NHL.
Just a shocker, just a shocker. And on top of that, Edmonton also got Tommy Salo.
Yeah, Glenn Sather, a busy boy over the weekend.
Yeah. And they gave up Lindgren for him, so that's not a bad deal for them there either.
Well, I think Salo's days were numbered as soon as Felix Potvin came into the fold, although Potvin is out for the rest of the season, so, you know, it's interesting. The New York Islanders, of course, Bill Stewart, they're a team that's struggling big time, but Mike Milbury still has a lot of praise for Bill. He said he's coming back next year. He's still got a contract to sign. They're going to sit down and do that as soon as the offseason, which, of course, is going to be early for the Islanders once again this year. But they're going to sit down. Milbury likes Stewart's style. He said that the team is starting to show vast improvement. Not every night. They can't get that consistency thing down, but they are showing great improvement. So it looks like Bill Stewart's going to be back in the Big Apple. No question.
I'd like to see Bill Stewart, actually, if he was smart, he'd get Brett Lindros as agent, and he'd probably get about $5 million a year.
I knew you were going to say something smart. So what do you think about the NHL? I mean, the playoffs are shaping up. We're getting down to the final. I think they've got maybe a dozen games left to go.
Yes.
Is Montreal going to squeeze in?
Geez, it doesn't look good right now, Jim, on that one. And, you know, I've always, every year I say the same thing, the real season starts come playoff time. And you're a Montreal fan, you never have to worry about it in years gone by. But last couple of years we struggled to get in, and this year it's not looking good at all right now. The way they played, they really don't deserve to be in there right now. But I'm hoping beyond all hope that they do make it.
So, Mike, it's going to be hot with this beard in the summer.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, the G.I. Joe look.
That's why I've got the beard, folks, because I'm in protest of the Habs season so far. If they make the playoffs, the fur comes off. If they don't make the playoffs, I guess I'm going to fill in for Grizzly Adams.
Well, I actually thought you had become a real Guy Hemmings fan. Look at you. He's not coming here, by the way.
My hair's not standing up.
He's not coming.
Let's talk about the Ford World Curling Championships. Of course, it's only a couple of weeks away now. The city, the uptown core, is starting to brighten up a little bit. You see along the Pedway heading into Harbor Station, Ford World Curling Championships, big signs, big banners all over town. Actually, John Travis sent out a press release earlier last week that said pretty much what they did for the Calder Cup Drive when the Flames got in last year. All the businesses put signs up in their windows, welcome Ford World Curling Championships, which is a nice thing. Hopefully the snow will melt a little bit more when all of our friends get in from out of town here to the port city, so they can get around and see our city. And John Travis was telling me that they're expecting 3,000 to 4,000 people per draw.
That's great.
I don't think those numbers are unrealistic. I really don't.
I don't think so. I'm looking forward to seeing Darby Norby from Norway.
Yeah.
Well, I think she's the only curler there, but she's there every year. But you know, Colleen Jones is coming from Halifax to take part. I know you're looking forward to interviewing her.
Oh, absolutely.
And we were all hoping to see Russ Howard come in representing New Brunswick. Not so much Howard, but his team more than anything else, I guess. But Jeff Stoughton was the best curler in the Brier this year, by far, in my opinion. And Guy Hemmings curled well, but Stoughton deserves to be here, and he'll represent Canada very well, I think.
I think it would have been nice to see Guy Hemmings just from being in the media, on the media side, and for the fans' perspective as well. He is a character. You never know how he's going to show up to the rink with the hair standing up or slick back or 4 days growth or clean shaven. And he's good for the game. I think he's a real breath of fresh air for curling, and you know, we wish him all the best. You know, once again, in the final of the Brier, comes up a buck short for the second year in a row, so we'll look for big things from Guy Hemmings over the next couple of seasons.
Yes, exactly. It's great for, like we mentioned last week, it's great for curling in Quebec too, because Quebec, I don't know if they've ever won a Brier. If they have, it's maybe one over the years. And a province that size, that's a bit of an embarrassment, really.
No question.
So, you know, that should be a boost for curling in Quebec with him making 2 finals in a row.
I believe it. Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, of course, for the last couple of weeks we've seen this seems to be the hot topic. The judge from England has now gone on record, and I love this quote, this is beautiful. He's gone on record by saying, "I think I made a mistake." Duh. No question he made a mistake. Lennox Lewis won that fight, no question about it. A lot of people, of course, the word is the fix was on. Don King looking for the rematch. All 3 heavyweight boxing sanctions have now said that they want a rematch within 6 months. Lennox Lewis said, no problem. You just tell me where and when to show up. I'll be there. Evander Holyfield, pretty much the same. You tell me when to be there, and I'll be there. You know, I mean, it gets back to the old argument. I mean, they are going to fight in 6 months. The big question on my mind is anybody going to show up or anybody going to pay for this on pay-per-view?
Oh, yeah, they will. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I guess people are stupid in that aspect, really, but there's a lot of boxing fans out there. We talked about it last week. The heavyweight division has become a joke. It's almost turned into a WWF. But look at
that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
too.
look at the and I mean, people know that's fake.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, but they watch it for the characters.
I wonder if some people do know it's fake. I really wonder that. They say they realize it, but then they get in there and they get so wound up and carried away. It's fun. I enjoy it. They're all athletes for sure, but it's not a sport.
Because of course you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Oh yeah, whatever. I don't watch it enough to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. You're a closet watcher. I know you are. So we talked hockey, baseball, of course boxing. It's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing turns out. A note for boxing, Muhammad Ali, the folks down in Hollywood want to make a movie on his life story, but his lawyers and people have stepped up and said, no thank you. They're suing whoever wants to shoot this movie, I can't remember the name of the filming company right now, for $50 million. Ali says he doesn't want a movie of his life made at this time. So.
Wow, you scared me there. I thought you said he had a rematch with Ken Norton coming up or something. But, well, I don't understand why they wouldn't want to do that. He's probably the greatest heavyweight I saw in my lifetime. I mean, I'm 35. I'm sure if you go back to some of the older people around, they disagree with that maybe. But over the years who I've seen, he's been the greatest. And I think it'd be a good fitting tribute to him to have a movie made.
And I think they had the perfect character to play him as well, Will Smith. I mean, you remember Muhammad Ali in his heyday. I mean, when he was 19, 20 years old, I mean, he could talk for hours and hours and hours. And Will Smith, of course, if you've ever seen him in a movie, you know that this guy can do the same. So I hope it does come to fruition. I hope this thing does happen because it would certainly be nice to see. Touch on the St. John Flames real briefly here. They make a trade earlier this week. Right winger Mickey Ellick is off to Grand Rapids of the IHL, and in return, they get a fellow by the name of Gaetan Royer. He is a huge man, 6'3", I do believe, 215 pounds, left winger. Had 18 points in 52 games this season and 177 minutes in the sin bin. So it looks like the Flames might be boosting up a little bit for the playoff drive as well.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see Tuesday night, see when they take on Fredericton, to see if Royer tackles Morissette or Blouin or one of their big guns up there, or maybe Terry Ryan wants to get pounded again. Who knows, right? But I don't want to sit here and disagree with you, Jim, but I think Mickey Ellick's played defense all year.
Oh, did he really?
For the Flames.
Okay, well, I seem to remember on the press release
it did say that.
Right wing.
It did say that on the press release, but we don't want to get those Flames people mad at us.
No, absolutely. Want to keep the peace with everybody. Okay, if he played the blue line, he played the blue line.
So they gave up a young defenseman, and they got a big, I don't know, I guess you call him a goon. I've never seen him play. Maybe he can play hockey either.
Never seen him play.
We'll see when he gets here. I mean,
well, 18 points in 52 games, 177 minutes in the penalty box. I think that says it all right there.
That's right.
You know, I mean, I think the Flames really miss the presence of a guy like Rocky Thompson in the lineup.
Yes, they do.
You know, people say what they want to about fighting, whether it be in the NHL or the AHL. You know, some people love it, some people hate it. But the fact is, you've got to have a little bit of toughness there in your lineup to kind of, you know, it's an intimidation factor and not to get pushed around in the rink as well.
Yeah, I agree totally. I mean, especially if you come up against a team like the Fredericton Canadiens. When Rocky was gone, that team was different coming in here. They come in, they push us around in our own building, and you don't want to see that happen, really. So if you come up with the best of 7 series against the Fredericton Canadiens, you need some toughness for sure. I mean, you have Wade Belak back on the fence, who's tough.
No question.
If you get this fella here, hopefully he can do the job. and and see what else they can pick up in the next couple of days to improve the team as well. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to sit back. I love this time of the year because you get to sit back and go, can't believe they traded him. Can't believe he's going there. So it'll be interesting to see. To make note, coming up this Saturday on Saturday Night Sports, if I can spit it out here, it's boys double, I think it's Bantam A, is it, Donnie? I'm getting all the feed here in my head from our director back in the newsroom, Don Ferguson. It's boys Bantam AA basketball coming up 7 o'clock. That's on Saturday Night Sports, and you can catch it right here on TVNB. Bit of a scatterbrain this week, Bruce. I apologize for that.
That's fine. We just mentioned in our AA high school hockey league, our champions been crowned. St. Stephen Spartans beat out Fundy Mariners this year, and they've gone on to provincials as well. So we wish them the best of luck.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to touch on this week? Anything jabbing at you all week that you were saying, man, I can't wait to get in here to...
Not really, Jim. Like I say, once again, I'd just like to go back and say I hope the Habs can finish strong and make the playoffs, or else you will be Grizzly Adams come September. But I have my serious doubts right now, to be honest. And I'm as big a Habs fan as there is around here. You know that, and so are you. And you just have to be realistic, I guess, about it right now. And if they don't win a couple games this weekend, you could see some big names moving there by Tuesday.
No question. So. No question. I think that they have to go upstairs to make some moves as well. Management, there's a couple of people that definitely have to go. But, of course, we know we need another 30 minutes to get into that.
That's right.
Who's your pick for the race this weekend?
Oh, in Darlington this week, it's going to be, my prediction is Jeff Burton to win. I'll give you my top 5, actually, if you like.
Go for it.
Jeff Burton, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin, and let's go with Mike Skinner in 5th place.
And we should make mention that you are currently leading your pool?
I'm leading my pool. I was a champion 2 years ago, and our good friend Darren Ritchie won it last year with his uncle. So I'm looking to rebound this year and win again.
You're looking to get back to victory lane now.
That's right. It's
beautiful.
Jamie Hargrave's pool, and poor Jamie hasn't been in the money since I've been involved.
I knew you were going to take a shot at someone before the 30 minutes was up. That's about it. Thanks very much, man.
Thanks, Jim.
Appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in this week. We hope you had a good time, and we hope to see you again next Monday at 6 o'clock for Time Out here on TVNB. Have yourself a good week.